Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. Smoking the Falcon. Whoa. That burned my finger. With some Milan Joe's blend. I did a 5-hour day on the tractor yesterday, and I am sore. You'd have thought I worked out with weights or something. I am sore. My entire body is sore. I didn't realize how much work it was riding that dang tractor. But I got about 2/3 of everything done that I wanted to get done. I was planning to do it over 3 days, and I decided to just go for as much as I could get done, and then my allergies were just going crazy. And I just had to stop, and then today I helped Sadie with she did a craft show, so I went and helped her with her craft show this morning. My eyes were just tearing just so bad this morning that I had to come back home and take some Benadryl and some allergy eye drops. God, it was just miserable. But it's a beautiful day. It turned out to be a beautiful day. It was nice and overcast and had a nice breeze while we were out there doing the craft show. And it was nice when I was doing the mowing and stuff on the tractor. But good gravy, I am so sore. My shoulders, my arms, my legs. I must have been all tensed up riding that thing. But my back came through it pretty good. My back is not really messed up at all. I got on the inversion board after I did the mowing, and 'cause that's usually when my back hurts the most, is after I mow. And I got on the inversion board right afterwards and just kind of stretched everything out, did a bunch of stretching exercises while I was on it. And it's felt pretty good. Just every other muscle in my body is sore. My legs, my glutes, my shoulders, my chest, everything is just sore to move. Getting old sucks, man, I'll tell you. So I'm gonna take Sunday off, and then Monday probably try and do the rest of what I wanted to do, and then I'll be good for several weeks. I cut it pretty short this time because it was really high and I didn't want to cut it my normal height, because it would be just back in 2 weeks. It would be so high again that, so I went a little shorter than normal. Figured it'd give me at least maybe 3 weeks before I have to cut it again. Well, we'll see how it looks in 2 weeks. Man, it just came up this last week. It just shot up. I mean, just it didn't look like it needed to be cut, and then this last week it just, bam! It just, everything was coming up. And so I see a lot of the neighbors are cutting theirs now, up and down the street, across the street. Everybody's getting in on it. Mark, I got your pipe. It came from Corvette Gym, so I will be shipping that out this week to you. The other night I was out here. I came out here, it was nighttime. And I came out and opened up the door, came out here, and I could hear this. Before I got to the door, I could hear this buzzing, this just loud buzzing sound. And I'm like, man, where is that coming from? And got inside and I could hear it in here, and it sounded like it was coming from above the barn doors. So I had the flashlight and I was looking around in here to see if I could see, if I had a hornet's nest or something inside here that was, going off, and nothing in here. So I called McKinley out because she's my eyes. So McKinley, I need your help out here. I just need you to look around, see if you see anything that I don't see. So she came out and she heard it before she ever got to the barn, because she can actually hear. She said, wow. And it sounded like a bee or something got stuck behind the slats of the barn or something. Something was stuck somewhere, and it was just mad. It was mad. But we never did find out where it was, or we were looking. I got a bat house up on the front of the barn here. So that, if bats want to nest in there, we got a bunch of bats around here in the summer. And I love having the bats around. And they're good to have around. So I put up several years ago, I put up a bat house on the front of the barn. They've never nested in it. So I thought, maybe there was a hive up in the nest, up in the bat house or something. So I was looking up in there, nothing in there. I was looking behind it, nothing behind it that I could see, and never did find out what it was. But the next morning it was gone. It wasn't making any more noise out here. And boy, it was raising a ruckus that day and night. So we get those carpenter bees every once in a while. Haven't had them much around here, but in the old place where we lived in Roanoke, we used to get carpenter bees all the time at that house. I've only seen a couple here, so I thought maybe it was a carpenter bee and it was, drilling its hole in the side of the barn or something. So I was out there looking to see and didn't see anything, and I had the WD-40 ready to spray it if I did. But I've never found any holes in here for the carpenter bees, so they're pretty amazing creatures, those carpenter bees. You just make a perfect little, 3/8 inch hole in your wood, and then they'll make a channel in it, and they'll lay larvae inside that channel in little rooms. They make little compartments in it, and the larva will hatch and come out of that channel, out of that little hole that they made. And the next year they will come back to that same spot and do it all over again. And but a lot of people spray WD-40 in there, and it kills them on contact. The real problem is that woodpeckers come along and they'll tear up the whole front of your house trying to get into those little chambers where the larvae is. They'll just tear up the front. I've seen pictures of houses. The whole front facade of the house is just beat to crap from woodpeckers, tearing it up, getting the larvae out of the little holes from the so it's kind of important to keep the bees away. If you can stuff steel wool in the holes. And patch over it with something so that they don't come back to it the next year. It keeps them away. There may be other things to deuse too, I don't know, but beautiful today, just gorgeous out. I don't know when I got so dang old. That's just what's amazing to me is it's like all of a sudden, bam, I got old. I just can't do a lot of the stuff I used to do, and it's frustrating. I mean, I can do it. It just takes me a whole lot longer to do it, and I usually need help with some of the heavier stuff. I'm getting smarter in my old age, I guess is what it is. Not trying to do it all by myself. McKinley and I, last week, we went out to a place called the Dixie Caverns, and I needed to go to a Dixie Tavern. We went to Dixie Caverns, and it's a place where you can go and camp, and they have a place where you can mine for rocks and gems and stuff there. They have all kinds of different rocks that you can dig for there, and they have a rock shop in there, and so we wanted to go in the rock shop. They also have an antique store there, so she was looking for CDs and DVDs, and they have a really good selection of those in that antique store, and she'd never been there, so I took her in there and we got looking at the rocks and stuff, and they have some beautiful, polished rocks and slabs and spheres and just all kinds of really cool stuff in there, and geodes and all kinds of neat things. We were looking at them, and I'd been watching videos on YouTube, which is always a source of disdain for my wife, so to speak. I've been watching all these rock hunting and rock polishing and all these different rock kind of videos, because I've always been a fan of rocks. When I was a kid, I collected rocks, I polished rocks. I had a rock polisher as a kid. I just loved rocks, and collecting rocks and finding pretty rocks. And so I'm always fascinated watching those kind of videos, especially agates. And we don't get a lot of agates here, but I love watching guys cutting agates open and just seeing how beautiful they are inside. And people who live in Minnesota and stuff, they get a lot of agates there, and Lake Superior agates and stuff like that, and they're just gorgeous, beautiful rocks. But McKinley and I got talking, and I was saying, I've been thinking about maybe getting a rock polisher, and I said, would that be something you'd be interested in doing with me? And she said, yeah, I'd like to do that. So I went out and bought a rock polisher. Went to Harbor Freight, and they had a rock polisher there. Has 2 barrels, does 6 pounds at a time, 2 3-pound barrels, which do about 2 pounds of rocks at a time. You got to leave some space in it. But so then, of course, you got to have some rocks, you know? And so McKaylee and I plan on going down to the river and stuff and looking for rocks down there. But I wanted to get, some rocks right away so I could get going on this thing, So I ordered a bunch of rocks, some agates and some tiger's eye and some jasper and a whole bunch of different stuff. And fluorite and all kinds of different rocks. Just a bunch of different kinds. Agates and different kinds of agates. Well, the first box came today. And my wife, Denny, she's like, "So you're ordering rocks now?" She just looked at me like it's total disbelief. Like, I can't believe you're ordering rocks. And I'm like, yeah, this is something McKinley and I want to do together. And she goes, "Oh my God, you're just like my father. There's one more thing you're going to start and then not finish." I said, "Well, I could just buy guns, or something like that." She was just in total disbelief because I had 4 1-pound bags of rocks sitting on the counter in the house in a box. I made the mistake of not closing the box back up after I opened it. But I got them all out here now in little plastic containers labeled what they are, and so we'll be starting some rock polishing here pretty soon. Probably this week. I also got all the grits and stuff that I needed, so we're ready to go. I'm all set. I'm waiting I ordered some agates, and I want to do a 1 barrel just of agates and then another barrel of different things. I got to check the hardness of all of them and put, like hardnesses of rocks together, and so that they don't just crush each other up. So anyway, so if we get any cool rocks, if we find any cool rocks here, I'll show them to you guys if any of you care. So I found a couple in the yard yesterday when I was mowing, or day before yesterday when I was mowing. Yeah, yesterday. And I need to figure out how to tell what rocks are what. That's my big thing, is I don't know what anything is. Anyway, that's what's going on here. Love doing the rock thing. I mean, it's just really exciting to me to see a bunch of rocks and you know, find really cool looking rocks in a pile of rocks along a river or something. And every time I go fishing, I always pick up rocks, and or a couple of rocks. I don't pick up a whole bunch of them, but I always throw a couple in my fishing bag and my tackle box if I find something interesting. So it'll be fun to polish these up and see what happens, see what comes of them. I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye. God bless.